October. It is spooky season, and I filmed this video in January. Yeah, and it is October now, and I still have not finished it, and I'm sorry. I got very, very busy, including I published a book. Yeah, very cool. I've been working, I got busy, so I never got back around to it, but I still would like to post it. Also, it occurred to me that the second half of this video is all about spooky books. We got vampires, we got witches, we got spookable ghosties, so why the heck not? Post it right now when you got a week left until the end of the spooky season. But you know, maybe you're like me and you like spooky all year round, so do with that what you will. Some honorable mentions, because this is obviously like the rest of this video is stuff I read last year. I'm gonna throw in a couple of books that I did not mention that are favorites of mine. So first off, we have The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. This one is one of my favorites by her. She is a fantastic, atmospheric, spooky writer. Highly recommend literally everything she writes. But this one was a particular favorite of mine. I am a sucker for cold case mystery. So our main character shows up into this little small town, and she is looking to find out what happened to, I believe, her aunt. She ends up working at this motel, the Sundown Motel, which is run down, very creepy, and spooky things happen. So we have to solve that mystery. We have to solve other mysteries in the town. Many people have gone missing at this hotel. Many people have died. And it is very haunted. Super fun. I listened to the audiobook of this originally, and I was listening to a particularly spooky part when my boyfriend came home from work and scared the bejesus out of me. Okay, so it's a good time. Very, very atmospheric. Another one that is excellent for this time of year, despite the fact that the majority of the book takes place in summer, is The Physic Book of Deliverance Dane by Katherine Howe. This is so good. I read this, I think 2 summers ago, and I fell in love. Half of it is talking about what happened in Salem to the women who were accused of witchcraft, and ultimately, you know. But this book takes place in, so just outside actually of Salem town, or where what would have been historic Salem. This girl is sent by her mom to basically clean out her grandma's old cottage so that her mom can sell it, because they inherited it, and the girl didn't know about it, for the record, and she is a grad student at Harvard, I believe. So for the summer, she goes to stay at this adorable rundown cottage and discovers that her grandmother was a witch, like for realsies, or and that goes back in her family for many centuries, because her ancestor was one of the witches extreme air quotes, one of the women who was executed during the Salem witch trials. We flash back and forth from the past, from the perspective of Deliverance Dane and what's happening to her during the Salem witch trials, and what's happening in the present with our girl as she discovers mysteries about her family. She's also hunting for the Physic Book of Deliverance Dane, because she figures out that there's a book out there with it's not necessarily spells, it's talking about like cunning women. This is very, very historically based. Katherine Howe's research is excellent. It will make you feel like you're there. It will make you feel horrible for these poor people who were honestly just guilty of landowning and being a little different. Anyway, there's also a romance in here. It is an excellent book. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. If you liked Discovery of Witches, give this a go. Next honorable mention. I love her. So this is The Haunting of Bryn Wilder by Wendy Webb. Now, technically, this book is like a secondary companion book to her Daughters of the Lake book. It takes place in the small town of Wharton, where our main character, Bryn, this chick. She's kind of just recovering. She had a family member who she was caring for who passed away. She's a professor by, day, but she's taking the summer off and spends it in this small town of Wharton on Lake Superior. Now, it's so spooky. It is so atmospheric. The former boarding house, current inn that she's staying at is very haunted. The whole town is very haunted. And she meets a tall, dark, and handsome stranger, of course, who also is staying at the boarding house for the summer. There are mysteries. There is a very, very sweet story about family caring for someone at the end of life with Alzheimer's. It's just a cozy book, but it is so atmospheric. Like, I cannot express how well done her writing in terms of like setting the scene and the vibes and feeling like you're there is. Like, it is excellent. This is one of my favorite ones by her. It's definitely the one I've read the most. Oh, also because this one just makes me feel like I'm on Mackinac Island. I realize Mackinac Island is like technically in, I believe it's Lake Huron, because Lake Michigan's on this side and it's technically like past where they meet, but like the Mackinac Island is technically in Lake Huron and this takes place in Lake Superior, but it gives me the same vibes. And I love Mackinac Island. So this makes me feel like I'm there, and that's all I have to say. Last honorable mention is Fangs by Sarah Anderson. This is a graphic novel. So cute. So cute. It is a vampire and werewolf love story. The book, the like hardcover cloth bound, this is so fabulous. I love it so much. But the like graphic novel is just so sweet and so wholesome, and it's so cute. Like look at it. It just so cute. Highly recommend for the spooky vibes, but also if you just want wholesome vibes. That's all I have to say. On to the video. That's 10 months late. We gotta talk about the vampires. Upon the suggestion of my friend, I picked up The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and subsequently The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, also by Carissa Broadbent. This is the first 2 books in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I also did read the novella Six Scorched Roses, which is a part of that series, and the 3rd book, Songbird and the Heart of Stone. I can't tell you anything about The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, because it is literally dealing with the results of book 1. So there's nothing I can say without spoiling it. So I'm not going to spoil it, just it's dealing with the results of book 1. But in book 1, we meet Araya. And Araya, the whole book is from her POV, except for like brief little interludes by a narrator, a mysterious narrator, Araya, who is a human living in a world literally dominated by vampires, okay? Like, she is living in a city run by vampires. She is on the food chain, okay? Not at the apex. No, she is dinner. She was adopted by the Vampire King. He found her when she was a small child in a destroyed city. He went to go grab her or whatever, and she bit his hands. And he was like, oh my God, you're so precious. You're adorable. I'm taking you home. And he adopted her. Her father, Vincent, he's complicated. So she has a complicated relationship with her father. It's interesting, but her daddy trained her to kick butt. He is aware in this realm, it is all run by vampires. She could be eaten at any given moment. So he trained her to protect herself. She is sadly a weak human, which is a bummer, but she can wield all of the weapons. She is a very fierce fighter, and she is entering a tournament. Why, you ask, if daddy has adopted her into his life and he clearly like has some affection for her, why hasn't he just turned her into a vampire? Because that would be a whole lot easier. In this world, turning is really high risk. Most humans do not survive a turning, and her daddy is just not willing to take those odds, okay? Like, he is just absolutely not. I'm not going to almost kill my daughter. So instead, my daughter's going to enter into this competition that makes, the Hunger Games look like a walk in the park. Because for some reason, risking her neck is like way safer than attempting to turn her. I question his parental ideas. But anyway, so Araya enters into this competition. This competition is held once every 200 years, and it is to honor the goddess Nyaxia, who created the vampires. So vampires from all over, well, and the one dumb human. Kidding, I love her. She's very sassy. You get vampies from all over just coming in, and everyone kind of looks a little bit different. They got like different things. Like her father has like bat style wings, but there's another vampire who she meets, Rain, who has feathered wings. He's got red hair, red wings. He's incredibly handsome and just sarcastic and able to banter with her like you would not believe. It is fantastic. Their dynamic is amazing. He entered the competition with a friend of his, Nisha. I love her. Oh my God, she's so cute. She is a little ray of sunshine. She is a vampire, but she is a little ray of sunshine. She is adorable. I want to hug her. It's a super fun story. I deeply, deeply enjoyed it. The vampire vibes were great. Book 1 and book 2 is a duology, but it's part of the overarching series. So book 1 and book 2 deals with Araya's story, and then books 3 and 4 will deal with someone else's story, and then books 5 and 6 will deal with someone else's story. And I'm not going to tell you because you get spoilers if I tell you. I will tell you though. In book 3 there's a puppy, slightly demony type of puppy, but there is a puppy, and the puppy lives. This is very important. I thoroughly enjoyed this series. I've reread these books. These two, Crave and Sacrifice by Laura J. Burns and Melinda Metz. These were a reread for me. I have read them multiple times before, but it had been a hot minute. I think these covers are awful, for the record. All shade to the publisher, who published these? Simon & Schuster. What the actual fluff? This book is more her book, and this book, and this book is more his book. So what? Swap the covers. Also, these are so boring. These are so boring. They're unreflective of the story. I'm sorry. We don't have to rage about the covers, Michelle. It's okay. It's okay. We can heal from that trauma. The books are still fine. So book 1 deals with our girl Shay, who is human. She has been sick all her life. She has some sort of rare blood disorder that has, like, as of yet been undiagnosed. Like, doctors, she's seen a ton of them. Her stepfather is also a doctor, and he's like a top dude in his field. They have tried everything with her. She gets regular transfusions. She gets all sorts of stuff. They've tried innumerable medications. Homegirl is just constantly like sick, which is a serious bummer, honestly. Like that would suck. So like she's weak all the time. She's very lightheaded. She has fainting spells, like the whole nine. Even though her mom is not saying anything, she has noticed that she has been progressively getting worse, and they still don't know what the cure is. So it's highly likely in her mind, in Shay's mind, she's not going to live too much longer, that this disease is going to ultimately take her. And as a 16 or 17-year-old, I think she's 17, she's a teenager, and she decides that she's not gonna blow her last year of existence. So she starts to try to do stuff. Also, coincidentally, this lines up with her getting a new transfusion. Stepfather, like I mentioned, he's a doctor, and he comes home one day and hooks her up to an IV to get a transfusion like she needs, like constantly. And he's like, I did something new. Let me know about the results. Like if you have any side effects, whatever, like let me know. She gets the new transfusion and like kind of falls asleep, and she dreams about this rather attractive man named Gabriel and his last night with the sun. And from what she can tell, given the clues, we are in Greece and like hundreds of years ago. So as she gets more of these transfusions, she sees more visions of this guy and like his life, how he was taken from an orphanage, how he's a vampire. All of these visions that she's seeing are hundreds of years ago. And like it starts off in Greece, it goes across Europe, but there's like, you know, all sorts of different things, and she sees what happens to this family. Also, the fun side effects of these transfusions is they make her feel healthy, feel like super powerful. Oh my gosh, a girl can run for the first time in her life. She goes to a party, she dances, she kisses a boy, she goes swimming across a river. She has all sorts of strength while she has these transfusions. The problem is they wear off really quickly. I think the book is really fun. And then this book deals with like again, the fallout from this book. I thoroughly love this duology. I've read it multiple times. It is a little bit slow burn. It is YA. It's vampires though, and I love it. I love it. And of course, I'm a sucker for anything by Melinda Metz, who created the Roswell High series, and that will live in my brain forever. So yeah. Okay, the time has come, friends, to talk finally about the largest section of books I read last year, which is the ghosty spookable section. Okay, we're gonna start off with a little subsection of the ghosties, and that is the witchy ghosty books. The Spells for Forgetting was one of my favorite books of last year by Adrienne Young. It was awesome. It is witchy, it is ghosty, it is an island, it is small town vibes. The island is sentient. When things that are not supposed to be sentient are sentient, that is just like chef's kiss. A guy returns to the island and he hasn't been there in many, many years. He left when he was like 18, ran away from home, essentially. I mean, not he was an adult, but like he got out of the small hometown and he goes back, and of course the girl that he was in love with is still there. And her family runs a tea shop / psychic shop. They give witchy vibes. It gives like cozy apothecary. There is a mystery on the island. Someone, whoosh, of course, naturally, there's a moida that we gotta solve. There's small town secrets, like long buried secrets, and all of the supernatural vibes. Like, it was so fun. I also read The Witches of Santo Stefano by Wendy Webb. It was her book that came out last year. I apologize for my absolutely terrible Italian accent that I am 100% going to go into now. It takes place in Santo Stefano. Also, real quick, editing, Michelle has to pop in here to let you know that I mispronounce Santo Stefano. It's supposed to be Santo Stefano, not Santo Stefano. I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable through the entire time I talk about this book, and my bisnonna is rolling over in her grave right now. Okay, I just want you to know that. Also, my mascara is running, but duck. Anyway, I'm so sorry for the terrible accent. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing the city's name. Anyway, carry on. Just know I'm wrong the whole time you watch this. Okay. Okay. Which is a small town in Italy up on a hill, and this place really exists, and now I want to go there. Thank you for that, Wendy. Damn it, I don't have the money to travel there, but I want to go because she makes it so cozy and so vibey. Also, you know, I'm part Italian, so like it would be fun to visit. The story was interesting. It does deal with witches. There are, of course, ghosties, because all of her books have some sort of a supernatural element. This one does have the ghosties. It does have the witches. We are trying to figure out what happened to this family. Our main character, who is like going through a separation with her cheating husband, finds something interesting in her home. There is a discrepancy because she finds a birth certificate and a death certificate. The birth certificate is for her grandmother, who just recently passed away, and that she was born in the States, and it does not list a father on there, which is interesting because they heard the story about like their great grandparents and like the great love story that it was, and so like they know, like she is aware. She and her cousin, by the way, they're the investigator, but like she is aware that great grandpa existed. So like, why isn't he listed on the birth certificate? That's odd. But also she finds a death certificate for great grandma, except the death certificate is issued in Santo Stefano in Italy before her grandmother was born. One of these things does not go together. Anyway, she is confused, and so she takes time off of work. She's avoiding her like soon-to-be ex anyway, so she's like, you know what? To hell with that. I'm going to Italy. You go, girl. Like, props. So she goes to Santo Stefano. She drives up the very scary hill, and she stays in this cute little bed and breakfast, and she ends up drinking wine and having crusty bread, and there's a storm outside, and there's soup, and there's a fire, and it is so cozy. It will make you hungry. It will make you want to drink wine. It is cozy. And we talk about the witches. There are several old women throughout the book, just random old ladies who come up to our main character in the present, who go, strega, which means witch in Italian, by the way. That would be unsettling. I'm sorry. Some like old woman comes up to you. It's her family that she's essentially investigating and trying to figure out what happened to her great-grandma, that her great-grandma was listed as deceased in this town when she definitely did not die and definitely had a full life in America. So like, what the fluff happened? But of course, her great-grandma's family were witches. So it's fun. It's a good investigative time. Of course, there is a romance. There's always a romance. It's vibey. It's a good time. Next, I read Perfectly Wicked by Lindsay Lovis. I can't wait for the next book because this was so stinking cute. This was another witchy ghosty book. On this apple orchard, there's a paranormal investigator coming to investigate the apple orchard, and they kind of have to take the contract even though these sisters absolutely do not want to. With the paranormal investigator is annoyingly charming. Rude. He's also like low-key attractive. Like, ugh. God, how could he? They kind of have to take the contract because sadly their orchard is not doing so well financially, and in order to keep the lights on, they agree to this paranormal investigator coming in and like filming everything. He interviews people in the town to get stories, backstory, all of this. There is a war with like an ongoing family feud between another apple orchard, but like just, oh my God, it's so vibey. It's so cozy. It's romantic. Read it. Read it during October. Next up on this same line was A Dark and Secret Magic by Wallace Kinney. Oh my God, it is so cozy. It's so stinking cute. The story is about a hedge witch. She lives kind of off the estate from everybody else, lives in a little cottage in the woods. It's so cute. One night, this dude who is also a witch that she is aware of, but she can't stand him, shows up and she has to give him admittance to her home. It's some sort of like the magical rules. If someone asks for shelter, she can't turn them away. So she's like, fine. And they don't get along at first. And, of course, that does not last long, but we are trying to solve a mystery. I went into it knowing next to nothing about this, other than the fact that it was a cozy cottage witchy vibe book, and she crochets and has a cat. There is a twist ending. I was crying by the end. I did not see the end coming. Oh my God. I'm just, yeah. No notes. It was fabulous. I chain read If Walls Could Talk, Deadbolt, Murder on the House, Home for the Haunting, Keeper of the Castle, Give Up the Ghost, A Ghostly Light, and The Last Curtain Call. That was her haunted house renovation series, all by Juliet Blackwell. I blitzed. I cannot express how fast. I blitzed through. It is cozy, it is mystery, and it is spookables. I love all of that. And they're doing home renovations in San Francisco. She has an adorable family dynamic, like including her father, her stepson. I have questions about what happened with her mom, and does her mom also have the ability, we don't know yet, because she can see spookable ghosties, but it just like happens one day. It's just so cute. So cute. So wholesome. Yes, they're spookables, but it's wholesome, okay? The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden. This book has stuck with me. Okay, it is beautifully written. It took me way too long to realize that this was the same author of The Bear and the Nightingale, which is beautifully written and should be read to you, in my opinion, by a cozy grandmotherly type figure by a fire. Like, and you're wrapped up in some sort of a blanket, okay? That is the only way you should be consuming that book. Anyway, The Warm Hands of Ghosts follows our main character, whose brother, she's a nurse, and was a nurse on the front lines, but she had an injury and was sent back home to Halifax. But her brother is still on the front lines, and she hasn't heard from him in a long time. And like, no one is responding to her letters. She's written to all of the peoples. No one has anything to say. But then one day she gets a box and it's his jacket and his dog tags, which is freaking terrifying. But she never got like a missing in action notification. She never got like a death notification. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then these adorable women who she's living with, because there was the disaster in Halifax Harbor, and she sadly lost her parents during that. Whoopsie. She's living with these women who make their money as psychics and holding seances. Come on. Yes, please. One night holds a seance that she attends, and the spirits speaks to her and tells her that she needs to go find her brother. So, you know, she who doesn't believe in the seance and the spirit or whatever, what does she do? Yeah, she goes back to the front lines to try to find her brother. As they're traveling across Europe, She's traveling with another like nurse who runs a hospital on the front lines. That's what they're trying to get to. And a woman who she met at the seance who has now become her bestie. She's gonna work as a nurse at the hospital, but like in her free time is gonna try to find her brother. Because again, no one will give her answers via like the conventional writing methods. So, as you do, you just, go off to war to find your brother. Kudos. As they're traveling across Europe to get to this hospital during the midst of a war, they find an inn and like a bar with the fiddler. He's like the innkeeper, but also he plays the fiddle. It is just like a weird experience. The whole evening is weird. And this is just like a bump of like a stop on their way. You also do get flashes from her brother's point of view, but you honestly can't tell if these chapters are in the past or in the present. Like you eventually figure it out, but you have no clue. Like there is no context for when his experiences are happening. But the story is beautiful. Genuinely, it's beautiful. It is heartbreaking, gut-wrenching at certain times. There is a gorgeous LGBT plus romance in it that made me cry multiple times. And literally, I have not been able to stop thinking about this book since I finished reading it. It is not a super happy read, as you could tell from the World War thing, but thoroughly enjoyable. Just like beautiful. The Other Side of Midnight by Simone St. James. This was the last of her historical spookable books that I had not read. I'd read all of the rest of them. This one takes place in like 1920s after the Great War. There are psychics, there are seances, there's a murder that we are investigating of a psychic, and like, just it's so vibey. It's so fun. It's all in London. It ends at an estate out in the middle of nowhere. It is nice and spooky. It is a good spookable time read. I also reread The End of Temperance Dare, which is my favorite of Wendy Webb's books. This one takes place just outside the town of Wharton, which is, again, the fictional town on Lake Superior. This woman is taking over an artist retreat. And this artist retreat, this building used to be a tuberculosis sanatorium. But now, many moons later, the woman who her family owned this sanatorium, like her father had built it. That woman is retiring and she passes the torch to a newcomer. So she's in charge of the new season of artists arriving. And they are due to arrive in a couple of days. Sadly, the night she arrives, the older woman who was just supposed to retire spontaneously dies. Interesting. The house is very clearly haunted. We get to hear children. Haunted, ghosty children? That is on another level of scary, okay? This book has not one, but two love interests. I like one of them better than the other. The mystery is good. The end is a punch. Obviously, like the artists all come, so it's a small closed door mystery because people keep falling into a coma. The mystery is not about people getting like bumped off in the house, but the people in the house, like the various artists who have come to stay at this like residency, it starts going into comas, and we got to figure out what the fluff is happening. It is dark, it is spooky, it's a vibe. The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope. This is 1920s Washington, D.C., all black cast. There are ghosties, there are psychics, there is a heist. Like, come on. There are like deals with the devil, deals with demons, all sorts of spooky things happening. Oh, there is found family trope. Oh, it was so fun. Highly recommend. Also spooky. Next up is a reread that I did. I apologize for the camera being bumped. That is my cat rubbing his cheek on the tripod. Reread The Darkling Bride by Laura Anderson. Now this follows the story, again, I apologize for the terrible Scottish accent, but this follows the story of Lord Gallagher at the estate Deep Roth Castle. Yes, the Gallagher family at Deep Roth Castle, and the myth of the Darkling Bride. Our main character lives in London with a house she inherited. She gets a job cataloguing the library at Deep Roth Castle before the castle is donated to the country. Essentially, it will become like a home that they turn into for like visitation or what have you. The Gallagher family is giving it up because the current Lord Gallagher just has no interest in his family home, probably because his parents were horribly murdered in the house when he was a child. That would be a bit traumatizing, and they still don't have the answers to that case. So we don't like it. No. We have a little bit of trauma attached to that house. This is gothic. This is spookable ghosties. This is cold case murder mystery. This is romance with a broody lord and our bookish main character. And it is both solving the cold case mystery of what the fluff happened to his parents, as well as the history of the Darkling Bride, and was she real, and what happened to the original Jenny Gallagher, the daughter of the original Lord Gallagher. What happened to her? Because she was married to the author, and is there a hidden manuscript? And just like, oh my gosh, it is so much fun. The Shining by Stephen King. This is the other book that has been on my TBR forever, and I never read it. I've been slowly working my way through Stephen King over the last like few years. I had seen the movie The Shining, and controversial opinion, I don't like it. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. And I know, Boo can't believe it either. I'm not a fan of the film, but I know that the film and the book are very, very different. So I was curious what the differences were, and I surprisingly thoroughly enjoyed the book. I think it's way better. I don't know if that's a controversial opinion or not, but I think the book is way, way better. It gives way more insight to the characters. It's less about angry dad going mad, and rather this like beautiful story of a man struggling with an addiction and like actually struggling and trying to be a good person and a good parent. My favorite character was the kid, Danny, because I'm sorry, in the film, you get like almost nothing from the kid. In the book, Danny's a main character. Danny is fascinating. Danny can see ghosties. He has the shine or the sensitivity to the ghosties. And so the hotel that they're staying at, the Overlook Hotel, which is incredibly haunted in Colorado, in the off season, they stay in there. The kid is just super interesting. He sees so much more than his parents give him credit for, which honestly I believe is true for a lot of kids. They take in way more information than anyone gives them credit for.
Yes, they do. Yes, you know everything, don't you? You were so cute.
The ending is completely different from the film, which I thoroughly enjoyed the ending of the book. So anyway, I would recommend the book. I think his writing's really good. I was impressed. I love the backstory. I love Danny's character. I love the cook's character. I can't remember his name, but like his whole thing and his like relationship with Danny, that was fascinating. All of it was really, really good. And the hotel, I'm sorry, is so much creepier. So much creepier. It's not taken from a Deanne Arbus photo. I'm sorry. The Whisper Man by Alex North. This one was a surprise. Also was a surprise that it was ghosty. I did listen to the audiobook. I got it from the library. I think the audiobook experience helps. So there's a mystery. There's like a kid that goes missing, but in the town, everyone is talking about the Whisper Man, and the Whisper Man like comes and takes the kids. And there are scenes where you hear someone whispering, and like having the audiobook narrator actually like whispering. Oh, the atmosphere. To be fair, the audiobook is narrated by the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. So me as a Whovian was predisposed to already enjoy the audiobook experience. A newly widowed man and his son are making like a fresh start in this town. They buy a house. This takes place in the UK. Sadly, the town they move to, like a kid goes missing, and many years ago, a supposed serial killer who they think they got locked up was taking kids in this town, and he would whisper to these kids through like a window or through mail slot or whatever and get them to like come willingly. It's very creepy. But now, like many moons later, the same thing is happening again. And there are creepy people that keep showing up at our main character's house, keeps like shooing them away. But there is a mystery with him and his kid. There's a mystery with the house. There's a mystery with like the Whisper Man and like who's who. There is family drama with our main character and his father. There is like a potential budding romance. I don't want to talk more. It was so good. So good, shockingly good. Like I didn't really fully know what to expect, other than I'm a sucker for a cold case type of mystery where we think we got the guy, but the same crime is happening again. I'm a sucker for that shit. Interpersonal relationships are really good. There's ghosties. Maybe? I don't know. I loved it. I loved it. And again, Christopher Eccleston's performance was 10 out of 10. Absolutely stellar. The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Y'all. You know, sometimes when you find the absolute perfect book, that this like kismet moment, when you find the absolute perfect book to read at the time that you absolutely need to read it, that's the Dead Romantics for me. Our main character sees ghosts and she goes back to her hometown because her father has passed away. She sees a ghosty boy. Like there's a ghosty boy who's following her around, like follows her all the way down to her father's funeral, follows her all over. Like he just follows her from New York. He like bicker and all of that, but there's like obviously it's a romance. So I went into it expecting that. I did not expect to be hard hit with talking about life and death and grief and processing all of that. Our main character's family owns a funeral home, family run small town funeral home, and just it was the perfect book for me at the perfect time. It hit so hard. The romance is also cute. It does have a happy ending, I will say that, but the book healed something in me. I'm not even exaggerating. That book healed something in me. So I loved it. The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. Canas? Oh God, I can't pronounce things. I'm so sorry. I do apologize. I loved this book. I apologize if I pop into a terrible Spanish accent. I don't mean to. It just happens. Our main character, her father had passed away and he was also disgraced. Something happened, but her father was disgraced. I forget the time period. I want to say like 1800s-ish. She and her mother don't really have money. They're living with an aunt that they don't like. And our main character, she's being courted by a widower who came into the city. Her mother doesn't like him, so she's like, you absolutely, should give him up. But our girl is like, dude, he's wealthy as all hell. Like, this would get us out of here. This would set us up for life. Like, this would take care of us. And her mom's like, yeah, but I really don't like him. I think there's something sus with him. And our girl does not listen, of course. And so she marries this widower. And her mother, this is my biggest complaint with the mother, is like, I don't like the guy. I don't trust him. I think there's something sus with him. So what I'm going to do is just, protest your marriage, not go to your wedding, and not come with you to your new hacienda in the middle of freaking nowhere. Okay? Like, really, Mom? Really? I question your parenting choices. Do you hate your daughter? This is one of the two books that gives Rebecca vibes, and I read this during spooky season. Our main character goes with her new husband to the hacienda, and we meet his sister, who he failed to mention he had a sister this entire time, but we meet his sister, who is very weirdly possessive of the house, and there's a housekeeper too. So between the sister and the housekeeper, they are giving a Mrs. Danvers vibe. But the book I'm referencing, if no one knows somehow, is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It is the classic. It is beautifully written. It is a vibe. We've got like a Mrs. Danvers character. We've got like the Mr. De Winter vibe, and we've got like the main character who does have a name. I just can't remember it. I'm so sorry. But she's like the young bride, and she's like taken over the house and what have you. And so like he goes back to the husband after spending like a couple nights there, goes back to the city for work. Okay, cool. Leaving his young blushing bride in her new home, and she's like, you know what, it's kind of in disrepair. It hasn't had a woman's touch in a long time, so like I'm gonna touch this place up. So she goes from like room to room deciding what she's gonna make over, and weird things start happening because y'all, this hacienda is haunted. Of course it is. And like the sister sleeps in the barn. Like she has an apartment in the barn. The housekeeper and the maid and anyone else who like works in the house, they have houses on the estate, on the property, but they are not in the house proper. Like no one else stays overnight in the house proper except our main character. And it is haunted. It is like haunted up like you would not believe. It's super spooky. So obviously our main character being like, you know, a faithful woman of like the early 1800s goes into town and tells the local priest. He's like, can you come and bless the house because like weird things are happening? And the priest, the old dude, like laughs her off and is like, no. Like, you simple-minded female. It is absolutely not haunted. Like, you need to just smell some smelling salts there, sweetheart. Like, go on your merry way. Old priest does not believe her whatsoever. Young priest. Young, hot priest. Of course he's hot. 100% believes her. He's like, you know, I wouldn't mind coming and taking a look for you. And she's like, oh my God, yes, absolutely. I think the old priest does actually come and take a look at the house, but he, like, very much just, like... blows her off. But young priest, she's like, yes, I invite you to like come and chill here and check out my house and like please dear God send the ghosts away. And like she is terrified. Okay. Young priesty does come to help and he stays in like there's a chapel on the estate. And so like he comes and stays and tries to help her. Again, super haunted. There's weird comedy mixed in there. There's weird sexual tension between her and Priesty Boy, which like this is like Roman Catholic Church. Priesty Boy, y'all not allowed to do that. I'm just saying. There's something else going on in the house. Oh, she also starts hearing around town like, oh well, you know, something happened to the wife. And she's like, wait, what happened to his original wife? So there's the mystery of what happened to his original wife. Why is the house super haunted? Why does no one want to stay there at night? Why is the sister and the housekeeper so creepy and weird? Again, they are giving Mrs. Danvers. Also, they try to like convince our main character that she is completely insane. The Rebecca vibes are through the roof. Last book I will talk about, the last one I read last year, was My Darling Dreadful Thing by Johanna von Veen. This book is so beautiful. It is, it is sad. It is sad, and it's hard. There's a trigger warning for child abuse. The writing was beautiful. There is a stunning sapphic romance. There are ghosties. Of course there are ghosties because we love ghosties. There are like ghosty companions though. Oh my gosh. There's a dual timeline. Our main character in the present is being interviewed by a psychiatrist in a hospital post-mortem, like after some tragedy happened, and the psychiatrist is talking to her, trying to figure out what happened to the people who lived in the house that she was living with, and because she was a hired companion for this woman and her sister-in-law. So that's the present day. We're getting story time with our main character as she like tells you what happened. Originally, she was raised by her mother, but she could always see ghosts. And so the mother used her talents and turned her into a fortune teller so they can make money. Her mom is awful. What kicks off the story is the mom sells her to this woman who is hiring a companion. She's a recently widowed woman. This one also gives Rebecca vibes. She literally buys this girl. She like pays the mother off, and the mom sends our main character off with this woman to be her companion at the house. But as we find out very quickly, this woman has a little secret of her own. Everyone has ghosty companions. I'm making this sound all like cute and fluffy. They're very dark and creepy. Okay, they're incredibly dark and creepy. The ghosty companions are super dark, super creepy. This is a very, very, very dark book. But it's so vibey. There are storms. There is a beautiful, stunning manor house on this like sprawling landscape in the middle of freaking nowhere. And of course it is, because we got limited people at the house. We have an invalid sister-in-law, and it's haunted. It is haunted. We have miscommunication that happens. We have, again, a beautiful romance. We have all of the vibes. And this whole time you're like, wait, but what happened? But what happened? But what happened? Because you're hearing the story from the present and you know horrible things happened. So what happened? You do get the full story, and it is just like, again, it's dark. It is gothic. It is spookable ghosty. Creepy, creepy spookable ghosty. It is sad, but it is just stunning. This one hit me like a ton of bricks, and I absolutely loved every single second of it. I'm laughing and smiling as though it is it is not a comedy. I cannot express enough to go into this like expecting the doc, but like it was beautiful. Oh, yeah. So anyway, that is it. That is all of the books that I read in 2024, more or less. And I left off the 9 rereads of ACOTAR. We're not going to talk about that. But but if you stuck with me this far, thank you. I am so sorry. This is the longest video on the planet. I hope you had fun. I hope you got some book recs. And please, if you have any fun, spookable, ghosty stories, leave them in the comments below. Thanks.
Ooh.